Can you hear me?
Good afternoon po, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Slight
Sorry.
lang.
Slide. Um, Wait lang. I'm just gonna turn on my earphones. So, now, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Better? Okay. So, thank you for your enthusiasm. So, today we're going to practice drawing hair, but as because I'm not feeling well, um, I had to move, and well, it's better here somehow, and I have to like travel for a few days to have my Mac fixed. So, we're just going to watch YouTube videos today on how to draw hair, but basically it's better explained that way. And I will also, um, if you have any question, I would um, answer them. And at the same time, um, I would also let you know how to draw it step by step and stuff. So, um, all right. So let's just wait for the others before we're going to start, like fully start. Um, how are you with your um plates? I could see that most of you submitted, some haven't. Um, Aliana, Janelle, you're here. Can you tell me how are you since you've been missing a lot?
Sorry, ma'am. Stress lang po.
Really?
There were some, like, parang personal issues lang that kind of got in the way. But
Hmm,
I'm trying to catch up naman po.
yeah, I hope so. Um, but okay. But there is, do you know Paulo Roy Abari Sienes? Sienes?
No po.
Oh, okay. Anyone here?
No, ma'am.
So I'm just messaging him because it's so weird. So if you don't have any, if you have any problems and all, and if you want to take a break and or you're going to send stuff late, just let me know so that I could, you know, um, cope up with it. So, all right. And what else? Um, Also, if you're not going to um pass or you're not going to, if you're going to be absent and stuff, so please let me know. Okay, everything is I'm recording it, and all of the attendance will also be sent to um the admin. So that's why. Um, what else? I don't think other people um would go back. I mean, would enter. So let's start. Let's not waste any time. I don't really feel well. Anyway, um, oh, which one is it? This one? Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes po.
Okay.
Hey, Stan Prokopenko here with Proko. Today we're drawing the hair. I feel like hair is one of the most difficult things for people to draw. A lot of us just approach it in the wrong way. We just jump in and start scratching away. Drawing hair takes patience. There's a lot of little shapes, lines, and highlights, and it's really easy to get impatient and sloppy. But we really just need to slow down and take it one step at a time. And when we get to the details, we need to focus on designing, not just copying it as we see it. The approach to drawing hair should be the same as sculpting hair. You don't sculpt hair with individual strands. You find the volumes of the groups. Think of the hair as a three-dimensional form, like the nose and lips. It has mass, and it has all the same elements of light, although slightly hidden by the texture and the strands. Ignoring the form and going straight for the texture results in spaghetti hair. It just looks like a bunch of lines coming off the head. Volume. So the first volume we need to think about actually isn't the volume of the hair. It's the volume of the head, or whatever it is that the hair is on. If you're drawing a dog, you gotta think about the volume of the rib cage or the legs. The groups of hair wrap around the form underneath and inherit the same light patterns. In this example, I made sure to shade the large group of hair to resemble the rounded form underneath it, before I added all the texture on top. The left side of the hair mass is all shadow, then it transitions and has a bunch of halftone shapes, and then all the highlights are on the right. Now we get to the part where we draw locks of hair, and everybody's hair is different. If it's straight, you're just gonna get a simple cylinder. If it's curly, you're gonna have a lot of little locks. And that design problem becomes a little bit more difficult. But whatever the hair type, figure out what those shapes are and design them as volumes, not strands. So, for example, here's a lock of hair. It's like a ribbon with some thickness to it. This ribbon has shadow, halftone, and a highlight. It doesn't look like hair, but it does look three-dimensional. To make it look like hair, we need to add a fourth element: texture. This includes the separations between the small groups of hair, a few lines representing strands, and breaking up the contours. There will be stray strands that soften and break up the edge between the hair and background. Make sure to add variation along the edges to make it more interesting and believable. The connection to the skin shouldn't be outlined. Show some gradations, otherwise it will look like a wig or clip-on beard. When adding the texture part, it's all about design. Don't get too repetitive with the strokes. Try to create organic and interesting shapes with the overlaps and groupings. There needs to be a good balance of simple areas and complex areas with a lot of detail. Get the illusion of the strands. Don't try to draw every single strand. Have confidence with every stroke. It's better to draw quick and confident strands slightly out of place than a wobbly, ugly stroke in the right place. Yeah. Don't be timid. This happens when drawing strands that drop down from the forehead. People don't want to mess up the face. But it doesn't matter if it's in the perfect spot. Hair moves. Usually you want to start the stroke at the root and let it taper towards the tip. But if you have good control of the pencil, you can taper correctly from either side. Make sure you're holding the pencil like a brush and use the length of the charcoal to get thin lines and the side to get soft, thick lines. Transitioning from one to the other gets you a nice taper. Designing the shadows. I like to approach shadows as flat, graphic shapes. It's important to get an attractive, well-balanced separation of light and dark before beginning to shade. Try to find ways to connect as many shadow shapes as you can. Even with curly hair, where you have a lot of little shapes, it's important to connect them. Otherwise, you'll have too many floating shapes, which can be distracting. In this example, there's a few floaters, but they're all connected with the same rhythm. This goes back to good design. Inside the shadows, keep the texture and contrast to a minimum. You want the focus to stay in the lit areas of the hair. Designing halftones. The areas that will have the most visible texture is the halftones. These areas get a little bit of light from the highlight side and some darks from the shadow side, creating the most contrast and detail in these areas. Don't forget that halftones are mostly gradations. They gradate towards shadow on one side and highlight on the other. Designing highlights. Highlight areas should still appear light after texture is added. That means strand texture should be thinner, lighter, and sometimes remove texture altogether. Have the highlights glow. Try to connect them as much as possible, only leaving a few lonely highlights. And try not to make each highlight the same. Give them variety in length, thickness, edge, and value. So let's take a look at how I broke down this drawing into steps. As always, I started with the linear lay-in, getting the major shapes and rhythms. Then I separated the lights from the shadows, focusing on the design of the graphic shapes. In this step, I added dark accents inside the shadows to separate the reflected lights from occlusion shadows. And in the lights, I added gradations from halftone to highlight. At this point, the drawing should look three-dimensional, since we've added all the basic elements of light on form. And in the final step, I added the texture of the strands. The strokes should follow the rhythm of the locks we defined in the previous steps. Notice that drawing the strands is in the last step, not the first.
Hey, if you like this video, your friends might too. Please help me out and share this video on your favorite social network. And don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter on proko.com.
So, is that clear? How do you like the video?
Seems interesting po to see the technique of how the step by step of drawing hair.
Mm-hmm.
And
So,
knowing where to start.
yeah. So, to show you more, I would like to um, uh, make you see another video again, to see the step by step. So, wait. Hmm, Don't wait. This is another video. So, can you see my screen?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This video is the second part of my sketchbook practice where I'm sketching a female face. In this video I will explain all the basic steps of drawing her hair. If you want to see me during the process of drawing the face, please check out my previous video. I'm sorry for my voice. I lost my voice before, but it's getting better, so I hope you don't mind. We can start with the drawing process. I usually start drawing hair using HB or 2B pencil. HB is great to draw the basic outlines, and then 2B pencil for the basic layer of shading. You can see me drawing the hair in the same direction using contour shading technique, following the shape of the head. The hair has always some volume, so I always make sure to create some volume above the head. Also, the hairline usually lies somewhere in the first quarter of the head. I will also find where the middle part is and draw the hair in the direction in which they grow naturally. Also try to push the pencil a little more in the beginning and then release the pressure gradually towards the end of the stroke, which is creating nice gradual effect of the shading. So the reference picture I was drawing from was cut right at the top of her head, so I couldn't see the top of the head. This might happen quite often, but no worries, you can try to find the same picture of her in various versions. Maybe you'll find the original uncut version, but I did not, so I found few pictures of Taylor where she was wearing the same or similar hairstyle to see how the hair looked like. I use a soft paintbrush for blending in here. It does not blend all the strokes away, so they can create little illusion of texture.
My job is to make college easier because students have a lot on their
Then I will take 4B pencil and shade the darkest areas of hair. I'm not drawing much texture for now, just adding the shading. As you can see, there's already created a highlight in the hair. Again, I use the contour shading technique and I push a little more the pencil against the paper in the beginning and gradually release the pressure towards the end of the stroke to create gradual shading. If you want to know more about shading the face, you will find a commented real-time version on my Patreon account. I share there most of my videos in real time, also more drawing tips, tutorials, and there's also possibility to select a tier with individual consultation, so make sure to check that out. I will add the link to the description. After the shading process and the blending, I add more texture using HB pencil. I do not try to draw every single hair, just to separate some strands. Also, please keep in mind this is not a full tutorial on how to draw realistic hair. I just wanted to show you how I draw hair in my quick sketches during the sketchbook practice. Then you can take softer pencil to darken some areas. The shadows are usually in places where the hair strands overlap each other. Then I use an eraser to create some more highlights in the drawing. To make the hair look more natural, it is always great to add some messy hair. I use harder pencils because they help me to create nice thin light lines. In this case, I'm using HB pencil again. Now I will follow the same process on the second half of the head. Thank you for watching my video. I hope it was helpful for you. If yes, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and make sure to subscribe. Also, check out my Patreon account where you will find the real-time version, fully commented version of this video. I will add the link to the description, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
So how well did you like the video? Was it okay?
Lot more interesting too.
Not more interesting. So, can someone give me a summary of what they watched? Can you hear children shouting from my end? Just um
Wala po.
okay, because there are children shouting. Those are my nephews. Um, so um, just to give you about summary, so you should think when drawing on hair is that you have to look at the volume of the head. You shouldn't forget about the volume of the head, otherwise your head would look flat. And you should also, first of all, think about the volume, and you should think about hair as a texture, and you should also think about the hair as a cap or another kind of inclusion or a part of the hair with extension. So that is um, the hair, and also you should also think about the basic um, the basic things about light, like how 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 it has some texture, it has color, it has form, and you should also think about how um, the hair has mid-tones, shadows, very dark shadows, and what do you call this? Highlights. And also you have to think about the parting here. For example, mine is here, and other people have different kinds of parting, and that part is always lighter than the usual, than the rest of the hair. And also there's white and then dark and then the highlights as well. But also it depends on the hair. What else? Um, and other things, it is texture. And on drawing hair, you have to be very patient. It's not just twist, twist, twist. It's also very important to think that um, the hair has strands. Although you do not need to copy every strand of the head. You just have to think about your basic shapes. Remember your basic shapes on how it has a different parts or different shapes. So it comprises of different um, shapes, not only just one big bloop or one big shape. All right? Am I clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
So um, I'm going to dismiss you early, and I'm going to leave you on. I'm going to assign you in drawing. Yes, Ariel.
How about the final plate po for figure draw?
Not yet. Let's not think about the final plate yet. So we are just discussing about the hair, and let us not think about the final plate yet until December or 24, November 24. So what I'm going to assign you is uh, draw 5 types of hair, different kinds of hair. You could look for references. Um, at least 3 of those references. You have to have at least 3 references. So I'm thinking that you're still a beginner, you haven't tried drawing hair yet, or as much as detail as I want. So I want you to copy or have a reference, and then this is just for practice only, all right? And then afterwards, I want you to um and on your free time, I want you to also practice drawing the body, like the whole body in proportion, and that would be our final plate. Our final plate would be a woman and a man on different days drawing on that time on the same time. All right. So you only have what? We have
Two
5 hours,
weeks?
right? No, we only have 5 hours. Usually a master can draw under 30 minutes, and this is not painting, so you have to sketch really fast on drawing the full body. All right?
Talking about the final plate?
Huh?
Final plate ba to?
Yes.
Alright. So talks of alright, we'll note that yung man and woman.
Mm-hmm. So that's it. So today I want you to draw 5 types of hair for the rest of our time, and then you can submit it on November 24. And on November 24, we're going to meet again, and um, we're going to have live sketching. All right? Not really live, but live as in, yes, Ariel.
Yung mga ano po, mga models po sa hair, nakatalikod po sila.
Not exactly, but at least 5. Okay, is it better na talikod yung mga buhok, I mean yung ulo?
Kasi po sa hair naman po yung focus po natin. So,
Okay, sige. So, it's okay kung talikod. So, wait lang. No, it's not okay. 2 na lang. 2 talikod. Yung isa front. You don't have to draw the face. And the other one sa front. Another sa top. Another sa side. Alright? Guys?
we're gonna use
Yes,
charcoal.
ma'am.
Use whatever you want, pencil or charcoal, as long as you can execute it well. All right.
How many references or plates are you expecting for this?
I'm not very strict with the references as long as you have a reference. All right. All right. Mela, are
Yep.
you? Do you understand?
Uh so you're not strict with references, but I'm just so 5 styles is what you're expecting.
Yes. Yes.
Alright.
Not really styles, but 5 different hair types. Okay. So okay, so please continue, start drawing now. I'm going to put in your exercise. All right, so class dismissed, guys. Thank you for coming in.
Sige, thank you po, ma'am.
Sige.